Hey, what's up guys? It's Ben here. I was just showing you the no smoking sign. I'm going to show you how you can smoke in your car and certain things, certain tips to help you do that. Now don't get me wrong, you can smoke a car out if it gets too far into the interior. Or for instance, I had a friend, one time we took his door panel off to put a speaker in, and about 4 inches of cigarette ash fell out of the door. So if you're hauling around a bunch of cigarette ash and you got a couple other things going on there, it's going to be hard to fix that. But let me show you a couple of quick tips to avoid your car smelling bad when you smoke in it. First of all, what you're going to want to do is when you're smoking, you're always going to want to have the window down. Now, if you have to smoke, if it's windy or something like that, at least have it cracked. And always let there be air circulating around in there when you're smoking. The other thing is, don't ever keep a cigarette butt in your car. If you have an ashtray full of cigarette butts, that's the stinkiest part of the cigarette. Most of the stink from the cigarette goes through there. So what you end up with is the nasty corpse of your cigarette. And if you have 30 or 40 of those in there, they sit in the car for months at a time. Think about it. In the summer, with all the windows up, your car's going to reek. You're never going to get rid of it. When you go to sell it, it's going to stink. So follow those kind of things. You want to keep the car vacuumed out. Again, like I say, if you have a bunch of ash scattered throughout around the floorboards and stuff like that, that's going to stink the car up. It's not just in the seats. It's not just that. It's at the actual physical things that you have in there. Cigarette butts, pieces of cigarette butts. You stomp it out on your shoe. You get back in and wipe it on the floor mat. You're going to want to take care of things like this to keep your car smelling good. You can still get away with smoking in it once in a while and kind of enjoy the best of both worlds. So check some more of these out later. See ya. Okay, so here's another thing you can do so that you can smoke in your car sometimes. You know, you have a good weekend, you want to have some fun, the beginning of spring, you're on a special date, you want to have a cig, whatever. Then if you follow my tips, you can do this, you can get away with it, you can end up selling your car, and it won't get what I call smoked out, is basically what we're trying to avoid. Even if you're not going to sell your car and you want to keep it for a while and you want to have it where it doesn't stink, follow my tips and don't smoke your car out. So another thing that you'll have to do if you're going to smoke in the car, if you smoked a couple of cigs in here, there's a tar and residue will build up on the inside of the glass. I got a bunch of dogs fighting over here. Anyways, you'll get this tar and all the cigarette smoke will build up on the windshield, on the pillars, on the dash. All the hard surfaces, much less the seats, will get cigarette stink on them. And if it sits on there for a while, it'll get worse and worse, and eventually it will soak in, and that will become part of what stinks in your car. So after you smoked in there a few times, you're going to take some Windex or some kind of window cleaner, 409, and clean all the hard surfaces. I know it is a lot of work, but it's worth it if you want to keep your car fresh. Wipe off all the door panels and stuff like that, especially right around where you're driving. The steering wheel, because you're smoking and it's getting on your hands, is a bad one. Anything up in this area, I always try to clean. But if you can keep those areas clean, that will keep that stink from invading your car, that nasty, nasty cig. There's nothing worse than an old stinky cig in the car. And if you want to smoke in your car, you can do it sometimes. You can't do it every day. But you can do it and enjoy it, you know, on a nice nature drive, or if you go on a road trip and you come back and you want to clean things up. This is what you got to do. You got to keep these surfaces clean, because that is what stinks. And also, like I told you in another video, you want to keep the ash out of there. You don't want to have an inch of ash on the floor. That obviously is going to smell like cigarettes. Also, you don't want to keep an ashtray or keep cigarette butts in the car. Get rid of them, okay? There's a couple tips on keeping your car smoke-free. If you actually want to have a smoke in it every now and then, it doesn't have to become a smoker's car. I've got a lot more tips. I've got some deodorizing tips and stuff like that out there too. So check out my other videos, subscribe, go on the channel, whatever. But don't smoke your car out. You don't have to. Okay, here's another tip. If you want to be able to smoke in your car and get away with it every now and then and not stink your car out, what you're going to do is when you get home at night, get on your phone, check your little weather app, and find out if it's supposed to rain that night. Look at the radar, make sure there's no clouds moving in. And if not, you're going to take and go around your car and leave your windows cracked, just about that much, I just leave them cracked maybe a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Just enough so I don't have anybody messing with my car. Basically, if they try to get in through the window when it's this close and they break the window or something, they'd have broken it anyways. But so I just leave it open so nobody really mess with it. And then I do it on both sides. I've got the sunroof open now, but I'd have that closed normally. I just have it open because it's a nice day. But if you come over here, same thing, you want to have it open on that side, just so that you can have like a crosswind kind of. You want to have one open on each side of the car. If you just have a 2-door, that's fine. But that crosswind is really important. You want to have one open on each side so that whatever way the wind's blowing, it'll blow through. And if you do that, you know, a few nights a week, say it's raining, don't worry about it. But if you know it's going to be a nice night, it's a reasonable temperature, especially if it's a little breezy, go ahead and open your windows up a little bit, leave them open all night, lock your car, of course. If you have valuables in there, don't do it. But if you can take all your stuff out, your computer, your phone, take your backpack, and you can leave it out and let it air out overnight. And if you just do that a few times, you'd be surprised how much it'd help your car to not reek like smoke. And whether you're going to keep your car or whether you want to get more money for your car when you sell it because it doesn't stink, you got to do these things if you're going to be smoking it up in your car. So check out my other smoking related videos. Check out the channel. I'll check y'all later. Check it. Okay, so another tip if you don't want to smoke your car out like stinky cigs is do not smoke in your car while you're sitting still in the car. What I'm saying is if you're going to smoke in the car, be driving while you're doing it with the window down. At least a little bit. I know in the winter it gets cold, but you got to keep it cracked. But if you sit still and smoke in the car, it's going to reek up twice as fast, 3 times as fast. I'm telling you, if you want to enjoy a smoke in your car, enjoy it while you're driving. If you're stopped, get out and smoke. Because if you smoke in your car while it's sitting still, it's going to be 3 to 4 times as bad. I don't know about the stats on that, but it's going to be worse. And it's going to be a lot harder to get out. So keep your car fresh. Keep it worth something. Enjoy it. No third-hand smoke either. Take it easy, guys. Okay, so here's one more for you. And I'm going to get really into the science of keeping your car smoke-free here. This is something that a lot of people overlook, so check it out. And that is, if you look down here on your dash, you're going to see this Recirculate button. And what that means is when you have your AC on, the Recirculate button, when it's lit up here, that means it's taking air from inside the car and reheating it or recooling it and blowing it out. So it's just recirculating the same air within the car. So what happens is if you're smoking in here, the smoke goes down underneath down the floor well or up wherever it recirculates. And then that smoke goes through your vents and it creates a residue on the inside of your vents. And that's very hard to clean. And if you let it get in there, especially if you're running the heat, it will soak in. And that's something you don't want. So if you're in the car and you're smoking, I know if it's cold or super hot, it's hard to avoid. But try not to have this Recirculate button on. And if you do, to clean it out, you're going to have to spray something, some kind of spray. I may get more into that later. I used to use Lysol back in the day, but you really don't want to have that blowing on you all the time, or Glade or anything like that. But there are some more natural things. Ozone's another thing I'm going to cover later. But like I say, avoid the recirculation because it's just moving that air back into the car, and the cigarette smoke is going in there, and it's not good. That's one of the things. Then every time you turn your air on, it's recirculating that third-hand smoke back through the car. So definitely try to avoid that. Guys, watch some more of my videos. I got some good stuff. Keep your car smelling good. Keep it worth something when you want to trade it in or sell it. Nobody wants to buy a stinky car. I used to sell cars for a long time, and I'll tell you, if you bring a car to me that normally would be worth $10,000 and it smells like smoke, you're probably going to get 8. And, you know, like I say, nobody wants to buy a car that smells like smoke. Even smokers really don't want a car that smells like smoke. They'll at least start with a fresh one. So get the most for your car. Take care of your car. Love your car. You can still smoke in there if you want to. You can still have a cig on a special occasion. But do these things that I say, or try to do a couple of them. It'll definitely help you out. Thanks, guys. See ya.